live. So we're just going to do a bit of a test at the Roundel. Frank, can you just check your equipment?
I am checking my equipment. This is the first time we ever do this, so bear with us as we get to grips with the tech. There's only two of us. There's no director, producer, or any other such thing. So let's see if this pops up on YouTube. If it does.
So we're just doing a bit of a test run. That's all. We'll be going live very shortly. So it's a bit of a countdown, but as you can see, we're...
Perfect. Okay, we
Excellent.
are live.
We are transmitting.
Wonderful. Time for the wonderfully composed intro.
Yes, I think that's perfect timing. Okay, here we go.
Oh, and it's giving you a word. Nice.
So this will loop.
Really?
Yeah, I think we're still broadcasting with our sound, which is fine. I'm sure the viewers won't mind. But if you look at that Roundel live, clever bit of camera work. Put it on your Twitter as well.
Yes.
Because this will just loop now.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got a bit of time. Yeah.
Why is it not? Oh, it's there.
Yeah. Share the magic, Frank. It's not too cold. We've got sunrise just breaking out in the background of beautiful Douglas Bay. We're at the Roundel live. It's a first for any Isle of Man broadcasting. Must be.
I'm sure it is.
Must be.
Right, let's do it. So,
Okay, let's...
Off with the intro. You know who we are, I hope. So, let's get into this properly. We know the sound works, the video works. Hopefully you can see us. So, welcome to the first proper episode of Roundel Live, a new and interactive chat show that comes to you live from the world famous Douglas Roundel. World famous indeed. It's been all over the news, all over the world. So,
It's soon to be one of the great facets of Isle of Man tourism. I'm convinced that people will be visiting the Roundel to experience the excitement, but not just once, but twice, because we've got another Roundel just only down the road, haven't we?
well, it's 2 for 1 over here. I mean, talk about visitor value. So, what's it all about and why are we here? Well, why the name for starters? Just like the famous junction here behind us, the Roundel Live show wants to be new, unusual, and hopefully everyone will talk about it. At least we hope you will, and we really want to hear from you. So this show is meant to be interactive. It's not just meant to be us sitting here and waffling. It's meant to be you getting in touch with us. Either comment on our YouTube live stream, which we have here, or catch us on Twitter, JetPower or Amadeus_IOM. That's the two main ways you can contact us at the moment. Send us your questions and your comments. We are planning to do this once a week, maybe a 15-minute spot on a Sunday, covering the biggest stories of the week, I suppose.
And you'll have a link on Manx Forums. That's pretty
I'll just stuck it
popular.
on Manx Forums. Hi, Manx Forums. Yeah, it's a bit of a current affairs show, bit of a chat show. So for today's hot topics, what are our hot topics today? The biggest one is probably...
The big one is the Island Plan, 5-year plan, which is up in the big house on Tuesday. And it's Mr. Cannon who's going to be rolling out this... Is it an exciting document, or is it beige and bland and unclear? What do you think?
Well, they call it building a secure, vibrant and sustainable future for our island. The word I was missing from that straight away when I looked at this was affordable. Is it going to be an affordable future?
I'm not quite sure whether there's any metrics included in the document, but I think some of the metrics we need to be aware of now is that your local MHK will have earned a magnificent 21k I think since the election, so you can guarantee that they will be shouting loud at this policy, this well, it's policy, it's a strategy that's not quite been discussed so far, is it?
No, I haven't. The main thing we've heard about it was when it was on the news that this is the plan and we're going to vote on it very soon.
And I think there's been some media from some of our MHKs that they're perhaps not too happy with the format and how this has been rolled out. Because really, let's face it, you want to see some real action to tackle housing,
yes,
don't you? That is the big issue. Our young people can't afford homes, and look, we've got all this government land that you could easily build on.
Plus, we do have definite need for more legislation. Generally, I don't like more legislation, but a lot of people are calling for restrictions on who can buy property here, because ever since COVID, the Isle of Man has become this hotspot for property. The prices have gone up crazily. The average price is now £270,000. Who can afford that?
Not if you're on the minimum wage.
No, it's impossible. So you really need new legislation that says, we have to have restrictions, like big corporates, these big companies that just buy thousands of properties to make money. They have to be stopped, and we have to put the people who are here who just want a home. We'll have to put them first. And I don't think that's happening. And that goes against what this plan says, because it means it's not going to be a sustainable way to live.
In the last 5 years, we have had what's called a property boom, and this has been completely unregulated. So we know that there are housing estates that have been built on the island, and say 100 houses constructed, and how many of those have been for private investment? How many of those homes are actually going to families? And this is the big issue, and our sleeping masters have allowed this to happen. And really, it's the number one priority, isn't it?
Absolutely. Nothing is higher up on the list, no matter who you speak to. I mean, obviously, I'm in Douglas Council, and it's, the number one topic there as well. And there's only so much any council or any authority can do. We do need a wider government support for the housing problem, and we need to get to the root cause of all these problems.
Isn't this so simple? You build houses, you build it on these vacant government brownfield sites, we know where they are around Douglas, and you make it a condition that it's not allowed to be bought as an investment property. Surely that is it, and is that in our government plan? Is it? I did see health and well-being being a main priority, and if you're keen on Spoonerisms, it's wealth and hell-being, and let's not hope it, transpires that way.
But it seems, like all these government plans, they are, if you put precise points, precise deliverables, KPIs, or whatever you want to call them in there, then you have to deliver them as a politician, right? Whereby if you keep it a bit vague and a bit strategic, is usually the term
Numbers.
Yeah, and every time you hear the term strategic, something's up, because strategic means wishy-washy. Strategic is a wide term to hide things. So yeah, we want concrete, we want numbers, we want goals. And
well, we're 100 days into office, and I think on Tuesday we need some determined action. We need some promises.
Yes.
That's what we need is promises that these things are actually going to happen, because when you look at our island and you look at the investment over the last 5 years, there's very little that's new. And I think if you look around, we've got £21 million worth behind us, and we don't want to dip into, the whys and wherefores and all the mistakes and what have you, because there's no point. It's done. It's gone. You don't want to be talking about water slides at the NSC. We know about that. It's an absolute failure. But I did have a think. Is there a tourism opportunity that you could ride the slide of death, that you could take on the Roundel, you could try the terrifying tram? Should we be marketing this?
Yes.
Adventure Island instead of Sleepy Island.
Not sure the insurance companies would fly with it, but...
Well, they have done so far.
Actually, we do have the TT. If you can insure that, you can probably insure a flume, I suppose.
Is the TT going to go ahead?
I hope so. I love the TT.
Put your comments in the box, because I'm not quite sure. I'm wondering about the motorcycle teams themselves and their lack of investment over the last 2 years. How difficult is it going to be to put on a real show?
Well, I have heard from some of the riders, because I was looking to sponsor a rider again for myself and also for the business. And I've heard from quite a few riders that they couldn't come because they don't have enough hours, they don't have enough races to basically register for here. Because of COVID, they couldn't race the last year or two. So, but then the news release recently said the sign-ups have been overwhelming. So
yeah,
I don't know if that means there's new riders coming or if they changed the...
It's got to be positive. It's got to be positive. And if you are interested in motorbikes, think now. Can you be a marshal? Can you help out that way? Could you be part of the Orange Army? Because that is going to be a big challenge, because you look at the marshals over years gone by and they're not the youngest, and I've got to say perhaps the healthiest of folk. Did they make it through the COVID catastrophe? This is it. Think about it. These are going to be issues that are going to creep up on us before you know it. We'll be into February and it's only months away. So many weeks till TT.
Well, I think marshals is probably the biggest problem. If you look at all the different travel rules, I know we've relaxed them now over here, but marshals come from all over Europe and all over the world, and the travel rules are so different everywhere. I mean, I've tried to travel a bit for business recently. It's not fun, you know. It's
Just a bit of a technical point. How are we doing on our YouTube broadcast? Are we doing okay?
I think we are there.
We're not stuck in. Oh, we're not stuck in a loop or anything
No,
like
no,
that.
we
That
are
is
there.
wonderful. Well, so far so good, and the sun is shining, and we're at Roundel live at the bottom of Broadway, and this is where the entertainment is happening with Frank and Jed. Everything's going okay so far. It's a bit of a first, isn't it?
Yes,
Bit of a step out in Manx broadcasting. What can I say? Pastimes.
it is. Do we have the clip saying people should get in touch?
I'll just put that on now.
You can hopefully still hear us while we talk over that.
Yeah. Tune in, subscribe, get involved, come down, be a guest.
Yes, we do have loads of people walking past here asking what it's about, so, you know.
It's a bit of fun, but it's also a chance to just share some views. We're independent. Not often that you get media kind of blasting a few messages out
Exactly.
this way. So please make a comment and get involved in the future.
Yeah.
So Frank, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you. You're going on about your electric car and how wonderful it is. Let's get the screen back, well spotted. And how wonderful it is. And I'm seeing a lot of electric cars, and I'm seeing a lot of parking places on the prom taken up with these electric power points. So
Yes.
just tell me what the justification is for that.
Well, they are basically our petrol stations, and as we now have at least 1,000 EVs on the island, I think the official number is about 800, but that doesn't count the ones still on UK plates, so we think it's about 1,000. It's going to be a lot more. It's going to be about 10,000 in a few years, and they need to charge somewhere. Not everyone can charge at home, so the Manx Utilities Authority, MUA, has put in loads and loads, and is putting in more and more charge points, so people like me can charge somewhere when they're in town.
Okay. And I love the concept. I love the fact that the gas-fired electricity is powering these cars. I love that. But what puzzles me and what troubles me is that to buy an electric car costs a lot of money. And we've got some serious hardware. I mean, you must have seen we've got Teslas, Porsches, there's a Merc, isn't there, and a Mercedes
the new
car.
one's coming.
And we're seeing a lot of those on the island, which is great, but we're looking at cars that are worth £100,000. These
No,
are
the-
luxury marks.
The prices are coming down. Some of the big ones, yeah. If you want a Merc SUV, I think it's 70 grand. The big new Beamer is about the same. But you can get cheaper ones. You get loads of Nissan Leafs over here for less than 10 grand,
Yeah.
which makes them very affordable.
Well, come on, Isle of Man government, give us a grant. Where does this appear in the strategy? We want grants to
don't
buy.
find it.
We want grants to buy electric vehicles so we can help save the environment and so forth. But also, I want a parking spot like you have on Douglas Prom if I need to go shopping in Strand Street.
You know, on the subject of Douglas Promenade, while we're here on Douglas Promenade, the new, if you haven't heard it, the new parking order for Douglas Prom is now in force, and I know it's been a bit of a free-for-all while they were still working. I may have had something to do with that after I complained about people getting tickets while the signs weren't clear. However, the signs are now clear, the prom is finished, enforcement has started, so if you park on Loch Prom without a parking disc, if you block an EV space, if you block a disabled space, you are now going to get a ticket.
£60?
Yes, and the important thing is, if you are an EV driver and you park in an EV spot without charging, you can also get a ticket. So these spots,
So you've got to be charging.
yes, these spots are meant for charging, and the legislation, if you read it up, the order is very
Okay.
clear.
All right, hang on. I've got you here. How long can you have your vehicle charging on one
There are
of those spots?
different disc periods. I think it's 1 and 2 hour periods depending on the location. And to be honest, 1 hour is enough, even on the small 7 kilowatt chargers, for any EV to at least get home.
So look at this, folks. We've got our fabulously wealthy people. They're able to afford to buy an electric vehicle. There are no grants available to do this. Then they're getting the best parking in town and topping up for absolutely bugger all, where the rest of us who are grafting for a living are running round in our diesel cars, our petrol cars, are paying through the nose at the petrol pumps for the most highest prices of fuel in Europe. How about that?
we do pay for electricity. We just pay a lot less
Yeah.
than you would pay for your diesel or petrol. But
Yeah.
yeah, they used to be free, but we do. All EV drivers now do pay for charging. It's called Pod Point. You can download the app, see the prices. It's between I think 19 pence and 25 pence kilowatt hour. So
I just want to get Stu Peters talking about it. I want his view, and I want
honestly, ever since I'm a petrolhead, right? I still have
Yeah.
a petrol car, and I will keep my petrol car. And I love my petrol car for the summer. It's an old convertible, it's a banger, but you know,
Yeah.
put the roof down, it's amazing. But buying an EV, yes, expensive to buy initially, but then it's the cheapest car you've ever had.
Okay.
No maintenance,
Okay.
£6 tax,
Okay.
£6 road tax.
You've swung the argument there, but tell me, I am a big fan of the Roundel. I love the Roundel. I adore it, and it's an absolute winner. Should it be changed at all? Could it be
No.
changed? There's a few calls for some adjustments. Oh, we need to make it a little safer. I think it's the best thing ever.
No, we don't need to change it. The Roundel is perfect.
Hello. Oh, we're just doing a bit of broadcasting, sir.
you broadcasting?
Are you a big fan of the Roundel? Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe?
Do I feel safe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never felt safer actually.
And
I think I could take a bullet.
magic. Okay. Well,
It's a bit strange that roundabout, isn't it?
do you think it's got a kind of pagan look to it?
It could have.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be
Should
good.
there be like a Roundel dance? Oh, watch out.
What is it, a
Where's
gateway
the-
type thing?
Well, they're still arguing about that. Some say treat it as a roundabout. Some say
You've got an
treat it
interesting
as
accent. What's your accent?
German.
Do you know you're German?
Yes.
Well, I'm not going to mention the war.
You haven't heard that one before, have you?
Never. Completely new
It's
one.
Goldie.
Completely new joke.
So what are you up to today then? Just out for a bit of a stroll, take it in?
What it- I always stop whenever I see a camera.
That's grand. What's your name?
Paul Killian.
Paul Killier. Nice to meet you, Paul. You're actually out live on air now, so
Yes.
just get your story straight for later on that you were actually down the prom on a walk, you
I
know.
was down the front on a walk. And
There you-
I've saw some interesting things. Who are you broadcasting to?
Oh, just YouTube, so check us out
YouTubers?
later. Yeah, you'll find us later. Go on the Manx forums.
Fried.
That's it. That's it.
Well, everyone used to eat tubers all around the world. This is my argument. Why don't we bring back deep fried tubers?
Deep fried tubers.
Well, it's
Are we
potato
talking
tuber.
potatoes? Yeah, yeah.
Well, YouTube.
The YouTube. I tell you what, you've hit on something there.
www.com.
They're ahead of the game. Right, we're back on the
I'm
chat.
going to walk past it.
All right, thank you, Paul. See you. Amazing, Isle of Man. Here we go.
See? We're getting into actions, in a way. That's good.
So I tell you what, yeah, we're talking about the Roundel. We don't want any changes. Keep it as it is.
No, it's
Sort
perfect.
the zebra crossings out.
Yeah, I mean, there are some bits. I think I actually have a clip of it somewhere. Oops.
Let me go. Oh, I've got
SD
to. You
card.
talk. I'll just lose
SD
some.
card.
Yeah, it's good. I've got it. I've got to lose that one. Bit of technology. We're going to get onto
So yeah, no,
SD
the new
card
prom is
2.
good. There's, generally it's now really
Roundel?
nice. But I do have, I mean, look at this one for example.
Okay.
This is, so we're still working with the tech here.
It's good. There we go.
So if you look at these
How about this for
pedestrian
technology?
crossings on the prom that you see on the screen now, I think those are the only things they really need to look at again. The proper zebra crossings are fine, but there's some unmarked crossings in between, or implied crossings, and they are pretty dangerous because people tend to run you over on those because a lot of car drivers don't think they're crossings. Well, a lot of pedestrians think they are crossings, and you can see where that's going.
Just hang on. Did you see the bus stop? This is a looping video, and it kind of puzzles me that the bus stop is open to the elements. Have you noticed this? We'll just come up. I think we're just going to come up along. It's a great bit of video, by the way. Is this in there like a drone or a mini helicopter? So we're coming up to the bus stop. So you see
it should be
there,
it should be the other way
it's the
around,
wrong
but-
way round.
Yeah.
It's open to the elements, when the wind's howling in off the sea and there's spray being blasted everywhere.
You're going to get wet.
Is that a design issue? Surely not.
There are some design issues for sure, but generally, the prom project is good. It's finished now. Is it perfect? No, but we got a nice new prom now. I mean, look at it. It's on a Sunday morning sun. It looks gorgeous.
It does, and even Strand Street is in good shape as well. I like the paving there, and I like what's going on. It's a big improvement. Whatever you say, it's an improvement. It wasn't perfect, but we're getting better.
So what are our other topics? I had some notes down for what topics we could have. We had the EVs, we had the prom, and we had the 5-year plan. What else is there?
I think we could talk about tourism in the year ahead. We talked about TT. I think it will go ahead. It's going to have a different vibe, though. It's going to have a different vibe. As for, the controls and restrictions, I think we need to lose all those very soon.
I'll tell you one thing about the TT. I know they have these changed plans now, and in the past years, I often helped out with North One when they were filming it. They always need some local assistance. So, you get chatting to all the cameramen. Many of them, by the way, are WRC and Formula One cameramen. One of the head cameramen from here, Bob, he's at Formula One all the time. So we have some top-class talent on the island. But my one concern with the TT this year is they have plans to put it out live. And they've been talking about this for years. They've been talking about this 10 years ago when I helped out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily a good idea, because anyone who's been here and watched it is not going to come back, because you can now watch it from home for cheap, especially in times of Corona. And TT is an event that you have to see. Formula One, put it on the telly. MotoGP, put it on the telly, because you sit half a mile away, and it makes bugger all difference unless you're VIP and you get to the pit lane. TT is an event that lives from you being at the side of the road and feeling the bike, not just hearing it, feeling it go by. And if you take that away with putting it out live, I can see why they do it. It expands the audience, but there is a risk that it will reduce the number of people coming here. So it's a calculation, right? Is it going to bring more new visitors? Or are people who've been here before going to say, oh, I'm going to save myself the money and not come anymore?
I don't think we've got the technology yet to do it. I think over 37 miles, I think it's too difficult, and there's some other issues as well to deal with. I can't see it yet, and let's kind of put that to bed for a little while, maybe.
I think, are they going to do it this year? They certainly have plans for it. But
I know they were. And I was involved, and it seemed like a huge program. But then they'd have to get the money back, you see, and that would be who's going to subscribe to watch it live on something. I don't know. I don't think the time is right as yet.
Plus, it's, as you said, it's difficult to do on a technical angle, but I think it's doable. But you have so many problems with it. For example, we all know that we have tons of delays all the time. If it's wet, if there's an incident.
Yeah.
So are people going to pay to be delayed 6 hours and stare at their screen? I don't know. I can see where they're coming from, but I have concerns that it may cause the opposite of what they're planning.
I would rather we invested in wet weather things to do, not just during TT, but all year round, because we do struggle on that front. I mean, year after year, when we get those poor TT fans who've spent their life savings to get here, and then it's chucking it down all weekend, and they go home without seeing a bike. I mean, surely there must be scope, say, we can press the button on the Southern 100 circuit and have something that isn't going to be affected by the mist. But that is another argument altogether. I'll tell you what, I think we'll wind up soon, but I heard a frightening tale. Okay, so the island has a few long tails around. We're not allowed to say that word.
No.
I have it on good authority that in Ballasalla, a crowd of longtails completely ate a high-value Range Rover. Made it completely unusable. Ate all the cable and all the wiring. The vehicle is written off. That is down in Ballasalla. Isn't that a scary thought?
Don't go there.
Don't go there. Well, they always say you never more than 9 foot from a longtail over here.
Well, anywhere in the world, probably.
Probably. Scary thought. Well, so I think we'll perhaps call it a day. Maybe we'll just have a look at the Roundel, see, talk us, is this an electric vehicle that's coming through? Turn around. Turn around, let me just swap the camera. So we've got, that's a Nissan Leaf, that's electric. Then we've got all sorts going on. So, what we got? One of our taxis, is that a hybrid taxi? Could be.
Most are by now, because it's cheaper to run.
Could be.
That sounded like diesel though.
And they're all behaving themselves, aren't they? Traversing through the Roundel with ease. So please, if you're watching, Mr. Crew Call, don't bend to this public pressure. I'm not seeing any major accidents down here, and it's much better than those traffic lights that we had before. You're getting around freely from A to B.
And I think let's end it at that.
We'll end it on that. We'll go for a coffee.
Yes.
Roundabout.
So hopefully see you again next week. We haven't had many interactions or comments yet, but
Yeah.
we're back next week, same time. That's the plan. See if we can do it. Would love to hear from you. What you think about it. Comment on Twitter, comment on Manx forums, or Facebook or YouTube or anywhere else.
Yeah, live from the Isle of Man, where it's always sunny. We're on the prom that's nearly finished. That digger will be gone maybe by Easter. Who knows? But anyway, it's time to go.
Easter which year?
It's time to go. Thank you very much.
See you later.
End.